Welcome to the Orgasmic Birth Podcast, where we have real, raw, and transformative conversations about pleasure in pregnancy, birth, parenting, and beyond. Hi, I'm Debra Pascali-Bonaro, host and founder of Orgasmic Birth and the Orgasmic Birth Podcast. Today, we're diving into a deeply personal yet often overlooked topic. So if you're in shared space, pop in your earbuds, take a deep breath, and prioritize your comfort, because this is a conversation that can sometimes bring up many feelings and emotions because birth has been sterilized for too long. We've stripped away and taken away so many aspects, and it's time to reclaim pleasure as a powerful tool for birth and beyond. Most people don't associate self-pleasure or vibrators with childbirth. I know I didn't at first. We've been conditioned to separate pleasure from birth, and discussions around sexual wellness rarely overlap with childbirth. But here's the truth. Self-pleasure and vibrators can be powerful tools for pain relief, relaxation, and even labor progress, which is why I am so thrilled to introduce you to the PleasureVibe Fin to transform pain into power with pleasure. In collaboration with Dame and Orgasmic Birth, we are so excited to announce the PleasureVibe Fin, a science-backed waterproof vibrator that empowers you to embrace pleasure and power in childbirth and beyond. Together, we're redefining the experience, shifting the narrative from pain to pleasure, because birth can be empowered, transformative, and yes, orgasmic. The PleasureVibe Fin naturally can reduce pain, boost oxytocin, the love hormone, and enhance comfort during labor. It supports postpartum healing too, and can relieve clogged ducts and rediscover your pleasure as you reconnect to your postpartum body and sexuality. It's your body, your birth, and your pleasure. So are you ready to join us in revolutionizing the way you approach childbirth and postpartum healing? As you listen today, I invite you to notice, where do you feel resistance? Where does that come from? Is there shame and taboo in even listening to this subject, no less leaning into it? I would encourage you to pause, write notes, what's coming up for you as you explore this concept, and allow yourself to look at and release the barriers to open to the idea that pleasure isn't separate from birth. It's a tool for empowerment, connection, and yes, ease. So let's begin with the power of pleasure in pregnancy. As many of you are experiencing or know, pregnancy is a time of immense change, and pleasure can be a profound way to connect with your body. Your sensuality may feel different. Smells might be different, right? Tastes are different. Where you like touch can be different. With increased blood flow, it can heighten sensitivity and or create new high sensitive places that maybe feel great or don't. So taking the time to really explore what feels good can guide conversations with your partner, ensuring that they understand your evolving and changing needs for pleasure as well. And studies show that open communication about sexuality in pregnancy strengthens relationships and fosters positive feelings about pregnancy itself. This dialogue, being able to talk about what you like, what your partner likes, will carry over into postpartum, a time where your body is shifting yet once again. And when you stay connected to pleasure and you cultivate this sense of safety, confidence, and deeper intimacy, then so many new possibilities are possible. So pregnancy is a wonderful time to begin that exploration as your body shifts, to get to know yourself, and to be able to feel safe to bring that communication to guide partners in what your new pleasures may be. Now, let's move into labor. And a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, where are we going? Labor is intense. And if you've been listening to our many stories, people talk about intensity, challenge, pain, but also pleasure. You can hold it all. And we often hear about epidurals, massage, breathing techniques, all as part of pain management, but vibrators and self-pleasure have been absent from the conversation until now. Science actually shows that pleasure reduces pain. I had one interview I just did, and you'll hear it coming up in the future, where she shared about her birth and said her vibrator was like as good as an epidural, actually better, because not only did it take pain away, but it brought her great pleasure. So we know that this stimulation of self-pleasure, and that can be with or without an orgasm. We know the orgasm can take you to an even deeper level of comfort, but a lot of people are just finding there's a real pleasure to have. So the PleasureVibe Fin offers kind of counter stimulation to the sensations that you're feeling. It can override the pain signals, just like if you ever kind of bump your elbow and you immediately kind of rub it to soothe it. That it's called the gate control theory of pain. If you're taking any of our courses, we go deep into all the different ways that our mind can work to bring us comfort and pleasure, but one is to give us another sensation, and that's what vibration does. Now, when we talk about vibrations, you can put it many places. Some people find where they want it is on the lower back, and our finger vibrator is just perfect. It can be put in different parts of your body. It can be something that you can do as kind of a self-pleasure, and look at our website, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'm kind of holding it up. It's a beautiful, soft, medical grade silicone finger vibrator, and it really puts you in touch with your body. So again, it can be the lower back, sometimes even your shoulders, it can feel great, your sacrum, the thighs and the inner thighs for many people can be erogenous zones, and you can go into the perineum, the vulva, and then of course on the clitoris. But all these places can ease tension. And when we relax that pelvic floor area, that lower back, and I was recently with Gail Tully and Jennifer Walker of Spinning Babies, and they were showing me that when you use it in certain spaces that release and let those ligaments that are holding that pelvic floor relax, that it can actually even encourage fetal descent and rotation. So we have a lot of learning videos for those that purchase the PleasureVibe. We'll take you a lot deeper in how to use it. But you can even use this on some acupressure points that will help alleviate discomfort. And if you are using it on the clitoris, that can help with relaxation, focus, a deep sense of empowerment. And unlike an epidural, which numbs sensation, vibration and pleasure shifts perception, offering consistent, deep relief without medical intervention. It can bring you pleasure, as I said, with or without an orgasm. So what are some other benefits? One, certainly that pain reduction, right, in really decreasing the challenge. But there's another huge benefit: oxytocin, pleasure, and labor progress. So oxytocin, often called the love hormone, is what really keeps labor moving, right? Oxytocin is that hormone that creates contractions, or if you know, listening to me, I like to call them surges, our own personal power surge or waves. So any self-pleasure boosts oxytocin levels, which actually supports labor progress. So we're assuming vibrators could help speed up labor too. The stories that I'm hearing are saying yes, yes, yes. So we're going to be gathering data from all your firsthand experiences, and upcoming episodes are going to feature the voices of many people who found self-pleasure to be a powerful tool in labor. But if you're considering incorporating our Pleasure Vibe Fin, we're going to be inviting you to a follow-up survey where we're going to be gathering your voices. What did you like? Was there anything you didn't? And we're going to be putting together some robust data that we can share to help other people in the future, but also we hope to guide providers and facilities to open up to how important pleasure is in birth. Are you curious about enhancing pleasure and easing discomfort in labor? Orgasmic Birth and Dame present the Pleasure Vibe Fin, a waterproof vibrator designed to empower your journey through pregnancy, birth, and beyond. Boost your oxytocin, ease discomfort naturally, and transform your birth into an empowered and even orgasmic experience. Plus, support postpartum healing and reconnect with your body. Are you ready to embrace the power of pleasure? Click below, learn more, and start your transformation today. Now, if you're going to use the Pleasure Vibe Fin, consult your provider, especially in pregnancy. If you have any challenges, if there's any risk of preterm labor, really important that before you use it, you're talking with a provider that knows all of your history and can say if this is a good thing for you or not. For those with low-risk pregnancies, self-pleasure can be a transformative way to connect with your body, to relax, and to prepare for birth. So we have to break the stigma. Are you listening and even feeling a little flush, or is there shame coming up? So if vibrators can support pleasure, if self-pleasure can support pleasure and an easier, gentler birth, why is it so stigmatized? Why are we more comfortable talking about pain than pleasure? And even I hadn't considered self-pleasure in childbirth until I attended a birth where that woman actually was the one who taught me all about it. And I've shared this before, but I have to tell you, for those listening for the first time, I will never forget that prenatal visit. We were there with midwives and myself. It was like 37 weeks, a home visit, preparing for a home birth. And when we did all our normal check-ins and midwives check, the physical well-being of mother, baby, and we asked kind of just questions to get ready to really offer safe and respectful support. Our last question is always open-ended. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us so we can best understand and support you in birth? And that's when our client really smiled and kind of said, well, I'm going to be making some special sounds. And of course, as very experienced midwives and doulas, we always say we love sounds in labor, right? They're these deep primal sounds. They're kind of labor songs that come out of each person. And they're all unique, and we honor that. We love that. Each person's unique song is so special. And she smiled and said, I don't think you've heard mine. And we said, of course, everyone is unique. And she said, no, mine will be different. And I said, do you want to try to make that sound? And just so we can, get familiar. And she smiled and went, bzzz. And that's when, for the first time I got it, I smiled and thought, why hadn't I thought of that? And when she opened a drawer that so many people had brought her all these vibrators to help her ensure she'd have an orgasmic birth, the midwives and I had such a big smile. But part of it was, wow, why even us that had attended hundreds of births? Why hadn't we thought about this? Why had that self-pleasure not been put into the toolkit for birth before? So society has long separated sexuality from motherhood, but our bodies don't work like that, right? We don't compartmentalize that one day we're not a parent and then we become a parent and our sexuality changes. And if we look at the definitions of sexuality, one prominent one says sexuality is a central part of being human. So it doesn't vanish in childbirth or parenting. So it's really time to rewrite the narrative. And so let's go into some practical tips on how to use the PleasureVibe fin in birth and beyond, right? So if you're curious about incorporating vibration stimulation in labor, a few key tips. Start with a gentle, low vibration setting and find what feels relaxing. And that's why the PleasureVibe fin has 5 different settings for you. Make sure if you're choosing our PleasureVibe, we know it's high-grade medical silicone. But if you're choosing something else, make sure it's body-safe materials. Especially know where you're getting it and there's quality control since you're using it at such a sensitive time. Experiment ahead, right? In pregnancy with placement, try your lower back, your shoulders, your thighs, your perineum, your vulva, the labia, and the clitoris before labor to discover what brings you comfort. Where do you like it? But know this, what you like in pregnancy can still be different to what labor may ask of you. So always be curious and you will find the right places, the right spot for pleasure. During labor, as I said, make sure you're talking with a caregiver. It's really important. If you're saying, how am I going to talk to my caregiver about this? That's already a barrier, right? You want to really feel that your caregiver is there, that you can have safe and respectful conversations about anything. You never know what comes up for you in life, in birth, or what birth will ask of you. So being able to say that you may need moments of privacy, can there be these moments? Some people like to put signs on the door, please knock, or do not disturb, pleasure in progress. We need 30 minutes or whatever. So being able to have these conversations, although I know it's hard to imagine that, you'd ever want to do this with anyone in the room. But as we're hearing from the stories and the births that I've been honored to attend, when you have a team that's truly safe and respectful, and this just becomes so much comfort for you. Many midwives and doulas, we've been with people. And of course, it's just part of birth, that we feel safe and comfortable. So if they're using, and this is why the PleasureVibe fin fits in the palm of your hand, it's literally small enough that you can tuck it in your hand if people came in the room and you didn't want them to know. It's an easy click on and off for different speeds, but it is nice that you have that conversation again, especially if there are any medical situations that would be rare, but would preclude using it. You want to make sure your team knows that and talks with you. For postpartum healing, vibrators can promote good circulation. They can relieve tension. And if you have any scar tissue, if you had any suturing on the perineum, once it's healed, not right away, again, you would be working with a pelvic floor therapist or with your provider on postpartum follow-up. When they felt the healing reach the right point, it can actually really help to soften scar tissue. And for those that are breastfeeding, we have our IBCLCs, our International Board Certified Lactation Consultant Advisor, who's talking about for plugged or clogged ducts. Sometimes a little vibration will help that milk to flow. And also we know it's really good. So many people as a postpartum doula always confide with me that they're really worried about early intimacy with the partner, how their body's feeling different, is there still soreness and that. So I often recommend, as do many providers, having some self-pleasure. Get to know your new body, find where those new sensitivities are. So being able to have a self-pleasure practice as you're reconnecting with your body, and then through good communication, as we already talked about, with your partner. Many people who have had pleasure in pregnancy and birth find that postpartum, they have even more pleasure. I did one interview and I'll never forget. I said, "How was your postpartum sex after having an orgasmic birth?" And this woman said to me, "OMG, I had been a little bit reserved before, but after my partner saw me in birth and the sounds I made and the wild woman within me was set free, it just opened me up and I was able to just let go and really enjoy our sex life after she was healed postpartum." And she said it's the best sex of our life after having a baby. So this myth that things have to shift or maybe not be good, again, everyone's different, but if we can be communicating, can be staying in touch with our body and bringing healing. And when I say healing, certainly on a physical level postpartum, but for many people, and we talk about this in different podcasts, people are survivors of sexual or physical or emotional abuse. And so pregnancy and birth are such important times to be supported, nurtured, and to go through healing. And in our documentary, Orgasmic Birth, there's a powerful scene of Helen, a survivor of sexual abuse, and how really birthing in a way that felt safe to her and being really supported to be fully present. She even said, "This wise woman entered my body that knew how to give birth," and her healing was profound. So birth for many people can be a very healing experience. So when we talk about healing, I mean on every level, physical, emotional, spiritual, sexual. There's so much available to us in birth. And when we can really connect with pleasure in a way that feels safe, it can be an amazing opportunity for many new possibilities. So we have to bust the myth that pleasure and birth don't coexist together, because I say they absolutely can, whether for pain relief, for relaxation, for pleasure, to reconnect with your body in new ways. Pleasure is a natural, powerful tool in childbirth. So in the coming weeks, I'm going to be sharing powerful stories from individuals who embrace self-pleasure, including vibrators during birth. Their voices will inspire, challenge, and dismantle the shame surrounding this topic. So I'd love to hear from you. Have you considered using self-pleasure and vibration in birth? Join us on social media at Orgasmic Birth for our weekly Pleasure Vibe check-in survey. Share your thoughts. Tag us. Help break the stigma around pleasure in childbirth. Thank you for tuning in to the Orgasmic Birth podcast. Until next time, remember, your body, your choices, your pleasure, your birth. Bye.